He's more excited than you.
You need a mic when I'm walking out.
Yeah.
Can you imagine my hype man?
The hype man. Well, Dan, I guess at this point the best thing to say is welcome back to the fight game.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here. Good to be talking about my own fight for once.
I was about to say, this has been a long time coming, right? This has been something that's always been in the works. But tell me how this particular one with Diego came to be.
Well, it's been a conversation for a while with the promoters. They put a few opponents my way. I said yes to everybody they offered me. I gave them a few suggestions, Diego being one of them. And he was the only one that signed on the line. I don't know where we're going to go from here. I think there's some good options afterwards, but I think once people have seen me fight this time around, I think I'll have a few more options,
Is this one of those weird ones, right? Because everyone's going to talk about how long you've been out of the ring, but there's a silver lining in that you haven't taken any damage, right? So do you look at this as like an opportunity to sort of showcase that, hey, just because I was on the sidelines doesn't mean I lost a step?
This is it. I mean, of course, there are certain things that you need. You need to have your timing, but you can get that from sparring. I've been immersed in the fight game ever since. It wasn't like I stepped away and just disappeared. I mean, I've been obsessing about combat sports ever since my last fight and before. So I don't feel like I've taken. It doesn't feel like 10 years. It really doesn't feel like 10 years. It's crazy. I feel like I'm, a couple of years down the line. I still think I'm in my 20s in my head as well. But yeah,
you're a little bit calmer than you were in your 20s.
I am a little bit calmer, yeah, that's for sure. And I think that's a benefit in me stepping in there again, because even my last fight, Nottingham, Amir Sadala, it was a big event because there was a lot of pressure on me at my hometown. All my family were there and stuff, and it was still quite a frenetic environment. I wasn't able to really relax, and now I've matured a bit and I've kind of balanced my game a bit more. I feel like I'm going to be able to apply it a lot better than I've done before.
I'm going to be a bit careful about how loud I ask these sort of questions because old mate's over there. But Diego, as an opponent, I just spoke to him. He mentioned that you had some critical things about his development as a fighter a while back. How do you look at him now after his performance against Kevin Lee, which was almost a bit of a resurgent performance? What do you look at Diego and what are you expecting him to bring?
I was glad to see that fight against Kevin Lee. I thought he looked better than he had done in a long time. And the thing is, for me, Diego, it's not about him. It's not about what he's capable of. We know what he's capable of from the Ultimate Fighter. He's been doing that. He's been doing this a long time. But following his career, he's ebbed and flowed, and he's gone through different phases. And some of those phases have been a little bit crazy, a little bit wild, a little bit unpredictable, maybe unnecessary at times, and I think his brand suffered a little bit, and his fighting style has suffered a little bit because of it. I think when Diego's on point, it doesn't matter what the skill set. He's a handful. He's a talented fighter. He's a natural fighter, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do with this limited skill set.
He said that he's never seen your boxing, but he has seen your kickboxing, and he's not sure how much that will translate into the other. What do you think of his boxing, and how does yours compare to his?
I'm a lot sharper. I'm a lot more technical. I'm most likely hit harder as well. The challenge with his style of boxing is that it's not orthodox. It's very wild. It's very kind of chaotic. He doesn't throw at regular timing from regular angles. So that's the big challenge for me. I feel like my technical boxing is much better than his. I mean, I've been training boxing for years and years. When I was fighting MMA, I was still training alongside high-level professional boxers to keep me sharp. And yeah, kicking was my game because I started with Taekwondo, but I spent a lot of time developing my hands as well.
It's funny talking to you now, Dan, because I can see the glint in the eye, man. It's quite clearly that you're excited to be back. What's the goal here? Is it just have a couple and just see how you feel, or is it, no, listen, I want to just have a second go at things, have a few more fights and just have fun with it again? What in your mind does this lead to?
I feel like I'm in quite a privileged position in my life. I turned 40 this year. I've got the respect of a lot of people in the combat sports world, and there are a lot of people in my scenario right now that are coming to their late 30s, early 40s, and they still want to compete. They're still healthy. Their mind is working a lot better than it ever has done before because they see the game a lot clearer. And, across combat sports generally, I can get fights against legends. Of course, the John Wayne Parr fight was discussed. I've had Nicky Holskin and Wakao Paul put towards me, as well as options, Damian Maia for grappling. I've had lots of good options put towards me. And I think that this is a good starting point to kind of open up those options. Where I go next, whether it's boxing or kickboxing or Muay Thai or MMA even, I don't know. But this is the first step on the ladder. And I feel like it will let people know that I'm serious about this. When they see me stepping into the ring and they see what I can do, they'll go, okay, fair enough. He doesn't look like a 40-year-old that's been out for 10 years. And I think that's the first thing I've got to do. That's the first point I've got to prove.
Thank you very much, Dan.